Hello everybody, Akashi here. So, Kill It has finally come to an end. So, the last time I did a review with you guys, it was only on the first episode, and it's only a total of 12 episodes. I actually watched all 12 episodes already, and it's come to an end. So, I want to review with you guys on the drama, the storyline of it, and how it turned out. So, let's go ahead and jump into it. So a little recaps on the characters so that you guys follow along when I start talking about them. So we have Chang Ki-young playing Kim Soo-hyun. He is a serial killer with many skills and many people seek for him. We have Nana as Do Hyun-jin. She is also a prosecutor and she is top of the police academy and she's trying to find out who is the murderer of her past lover. We have Jang as An Philip. He is Soo-hyun's hitman broker. He's the one that does all the work for Soo-hyun. Soo-hyun goes and does all the killing and stuff like that. David Lee McInnes, I think, if I'm saying it correct, as Pavel. He is the one who trained and helped raise up Kim Soo-hyun. Noh Jun-ul as Kan Sul-gi. She is a girl who's always around Kim Soo-hyun, and slowly we get to figure out who she is throughout the drama. There are a lot of characters in this drama, but I will explain them as we go on with this recap. So I'm going to continue on episode 2 and so on to the end. So the last 11 episodes, since I already reviewed with you guys what episode 1 was about in my previous review about it. So we have Hyunjin moving into the same neighborhood as Soo-hyun and Seok-gi, and like at the beginning we get to see Seok-gi as a really annoying person. She's like a high school student or a school student like that, and she owns like the building complex and everything like that, and she's pretty annoying in the first place, but you know, Soo-hyun is okay with her around, and Soo-hyun doesn't really care how she is, and like Hyunjin kind of just like sucks it up to how she is in the beginning. Well, the reason Hyunsoo ends up, not Hyunsoo, oh, there's so many Hyuns in here that I'm getting messed up. Even bad guy's name is like Hyungwoo or something like that, and like her name is Do Hyunjin and he is Kim Soo-hyun. Ugh, get that right. So Hyunjin moves into the neighborhood because all the crime is happening around that and it's easier for her to investigate. That's why she moves in. It gives it really tough for Soo-hyun because he's the one who's doing all the killing and he gets all the calls and he's the one who does it. He's the killer. So with Hyunjin moving into the neighborhood, he has to be kind of careful and he has to stick to his character of like, you know, oh, you know, I'm just this vet dog in this place with this little animal hospital. But you know, slowly as he eliminates people, kill one by one, which his client hires him to do, he gets a clue closer and closer to who his childhood is, like his childhood memories, his family and everything. He got a picture already of a lady who we kind of see the side of her only, a little girl in a wheelchair where she's sick, and there's him, the young him who had blue eyes. And as you guys remembered, he had blue eyes and he wear contacts in it so that it doesn't show, and he never understood why he had blue eyes, which will get explained later on. And so this client that hires him was able to contact Philip and gave him information that as long as Soo-hyun does and kill the targets they ask him to, he gets closer and closer to who he is and why you know his father tried to kill him in the first place, because that's all he remembers. The first couple episodes there reveals us a little bit of Seok-gi, like she's from a rich family, but you know, her identity is like, you know, kept a secret. She had a different name. There's some people that came and they call her Min-jin, and Soo-hyun is helping her, keeping her away from them. And we also find out that Hyunjin, her mom wants her to be a ballerina, but she doesn't, and she wanted to be police officer, prosecutor, detective, stuff like that. So she went into the police academy, and you know, she sees her mom, and her mom is always like putting her on like strict diet. Like you need to be on a diet so you can fit into your ballerina clothes and all these stuff like that. When Hyunjin is like, she just has to suck it up and do all this stuff to her mom, and because her mom is kind of a little bit cuckoo, because we see her dad injecting medication to her so that it would like put her to sleep and stuff like that. So you remember how in the first episode we have Hyunjin, not Hyunjin, see? We have Soohyung and Pavel completing the last mission they were given, and they were supposed to kill this mafia team, which they accidentally left some evidence or some witness behind, and I think the bad guy's name is Karimov, something like that. And well, he's now after Soohyung, and he has gotten in contact with Philip, and they have revealed some stuff about Soohyung to him. So he comes and he tries to get Soohyung, and at the same time he's continuing his business, which his dad and them were doing, which is women trafficking, drug trafficking. And so Hyunjin actually digs into it, and she solves it, and then she was able to catch them, the people. But the bad guy, the actual main bad guy, gets away. With the bad guy get away, he does come and he does goes after Sorgi, which Soohyung ends up saving Sorgi and bringing her. We get her memories coming back to her that her grandfather was murdered and she saw it, and she was going to get killed. And at the same time, we also get to see who was the one who murdered her grandfather. It was Pavel. Pavel and Soohyung was sent to do the mission. They killed the grandfather, but leaving behind a man and a little girl who witnessed the murder. Therefore, Pavel went back to kill the man and the little girl, but Soohyung refused to let Pavel kill the little girl, and Soohyung ends up saving the little girl, putting her into, a safety custody and all this stuff like that. And in the future, he ended up taking care of her. That's how she became Sorgi, and that's how she became close with him, and he's always protecting her, and he doesn't tell her who he is, but in a way she kind of remember who he is. So that's their little story of how that's why he has Sorgi around, and even though her personality is all bad, he sucks it up and he doesn't really care. It's because he saved her. In the process of it, we slowly get Hyunjin approaches Soohyung, and she would give him little stuff about her friend back then. She had a friend who always give her paper airplanes, and her friend's name was Yong and all this stuff like that. And this was kind of out of the blue of her just trying to be comfortable with Soohyung and talking about her past, and it kind of comes back to Soohyung because he has some paper airplanes that he keeps too, and it also has the same name, Yong, and he doesn't know what it is, and it goes back to he needs to complete his mission in order to get more information to who he was in his past. And his target becomes Hyunjin, and he's kind of oh no, she's my target, I'm supposed to go after her, but she's right in front of me. And this is when we get more people coming into the scenes of all these bad guys. So Hyunjin's father, which is Do Jae-hwang, he's actually a bad guy, and he actually does bad things, and then he sends his secretary Yoon Jae-hae to do all these dirty works for him, and she does all these steps, and we find out that she is actually helping someone else named Gu Hyung-woo on the side, and he's supposed to be dead, but he's not, and he rises up again, and he's a gardener, and she reports back to him, and they are on to the case of what Do Jae-hyung is doing. So we don't know as of now, the first 6 episodes, we have no idea what they're actually doing, and it's just these 3 people gets introduced, and they're kind of they have something to do with each other in the past. And then we also get Yoo Jung-woo, who is a new guy working with Hyunjin, and he's a higher position, and he's helping her investigate and all these stuff like that. And then at the same time, we get Philip keeping secret from Soohyung, and Soohyung is now upset, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, because Phillips would keep secret from him. Philip knows who the client that is hiring them, and Philip is getting information and all stuff like that. And when Soohyung refuses to do something, the client sent something to Philip and said, threaten him with this and he'll do it. And so Philip would show it to Soo-hyun and said, this is what the client gave. And it triggers Soo-hyun, and Soo-hyun goes and does it. By around like episode like 6 to 8 right there, we get the Hansol orphanage revealed. So back then, Soo-hyun was labeled as number 88, and he was from the Hansol orphanage, and he had a friend there named Yong. And so they have never met, but they're constantly writing letters to each other, which is a paper airplane. They hide it in a secret spot, and they like come back and exchange it, but they never meet each other. Like, so she writes it, she puts it in there, he comes and pick it up later, he puts in a new letter for her, and she comes and get it. So they never see each other. But I don't know, like, he doesn't have a name. People call him number 88, and he was the only one with blue eyes as a little kid. And then we do get a little bit flashback of when he was still a child, and he was living with a family, and she calls the girl Nuna, and she's in a wheelchair, and there's the mom, and the mom is what is also Hyunjin's mom. So it gives you to be like, okay, so Hyunjin is his sister, his Nuna, you know, because in the picture that he has is a picture of the mom, which you see half of her face, and the little girl in the wheelchair, and Soo-hyun on the side. And how he got his name was his Nuna gave it to him. His Nuna picked out some names and said, which name do you like? And he said, Soo-hyun. And so she said, okay, that's your name, Kim Soo-hyun, you know? And my name is Do Hyun-jin. And so we get that's his sister, and that's his family. And so he's also a part of the Do family as well. I know what you're all thinking, like, oh my god, really? So Hyunjin and Soo-hyun are siblings? Nope. They are not. Just slowly after that, we get more explanation of Hyunjin going through like kind of like this panic, and she's sort of like, you are not Young, you are Do Hyunjin. You are not Young, you are Do Hyunjin. So she's actually the little girl who passes letter to him when she was little. Her real name is Young, and because Do Hyunjin died, the mom went crazy. So the father, Do Jae-hwang, adopted Young to be the daughter. That's why the mom is always forcing her to go into ballet and stuff like that, and she doesn't like it because she wants to figure out all these things that happened to her in the past and all these stuff, and her boyfriend's murder and all these things like that. And so that's why she didn't want to do that. She went to the police academy, which got the father to be a little bit more like careful now, because she is like that. So the only reason he's keeping her is so the mom would be sane. And so, but like he kind of like scares her a little bit, so she doesn't like dig into his stuff. So that's what gives the father like, oh, I can do my stuff, and she just has to take care of my wife, and nothing goes on. So with us knowing that about her past, we also find out that her lover, her boyfriend that passed away, was the man with Sogi when she was little. He was taking care of her. He was pretty much guarding her family and everything like that. And when her grandfather got killed, he was the man watching her. Pavel came back and killed him by accident when Pavel wasn't supposed to, and he was a policeman. And that's why Hyunjin was at the scene, and she met Sorgi when Sorgi was a little girl. That's why Hyunjin is trying to get close to Sorgi throughout all this time, and to prove it that Sorgi is the little girl from back then, and because she wants to know who is the actual killer, because Sorgi is the only witness left, and she's kind of like haunted by that, so she doesn't want to talk about it. So by the time we hit episode 9 through 11 right there, Soo-hyun has been doing all his digging, and he has found out that his father is Do Jae-hwang, and he is after his father, and he accidentally saw what his father did. So his father, this whole time, his father's been doing organ trafficking. So his father keeps all these children, and he has sponsor, which is rich people who pays him, and rich people who are about to die because of heart problem, liver, kidney, all this stuff like that. The father, Jae-hwang, he harvests the kids' organs, and so they grow up to a certain age and the organ is good, he pretends to them that, oh, you're getting adopted. He puts them to sleep, gets their organ out, and leave them dead, and takes the organ and give it to the rich people. So Soo-hyung finds out that that's what he's doing, and like Soo-hyung also finds out who is his client that has been hiring him. His client that has been hiring him is Gu Hyung-woo. And Gu Hyung-woo was once a part of all this, and he wants to put an end to it. And like that's why he hired Soo-hyung. And what makes it better for a son to go back and kill his own father? So it makes like Soo-hyung not want to do it. So he approaches Hyung-woo about it, like Gu Hyung-woo, like, why do you want me to kill him? Because at this point, Soo-hyung hasn't fully understand yet of what his father was actually doing, like the whole thing of it, and he doesn't know. And Gu Hyung-woo was just telling him that like, you need to stop your father and you need to save these kids before he goes further. Just because you put him in jail, it doesn't mean it's the end of it. As long as there's still people sponsoring him, giving him money, he's gonna get out and he's gonna continue doing it. So you need to end his life, meaning just kill him. So it puts Soo-hyung in a very sticky situation. And during all this time of Soo-hyung doing his own things on the side, Hyun-jin is getting closer and closer to finding out all these things, and she ends up finding out that Soo-hyung was number 88, the little boy from back then, the little boy with blue eyes. So she finds out that her boyfriend got killed as well, and Sogi finally came to her and told her that the person who killed your boyfriend wasn't him, was Pavel. And so, she told him that Soo-hyung is a very good guy because Soo-hyung raised her up. He saved her when Pavel wanted to kill her. And so he saved her when Pavel wanted to kill her. So he's a good guy and he doesn't do there's nothing bad about him. And so with Soo-hyung knowing all this, she knows, not Soo-hyung, Hyun-jin knowing all this, she doesn't want Soo-hyung to do anything bad by, going to kill someone to get revenge, and it's going to put him in jail or he's gonna get the death sentence and all these stuff like that. So she wants an easier way out for him. So she's trying to like solve everything before Soo-hyung gets to it, but she's always like a step late, and Soo-hyung is always like earlier, like 2-3 steps ahead of them. So he actually broke into the lab, a hospital lab that the father had like secretly been working in it. So it was like in episode 11 when Soo-hyung broke into the lab and he saw what the father was doing. He numbered the children. The reason the children are numbered is because these children are the one that has a medical problem with them. They have some sort of disease. So by harvesting chemicals and all this stuff like that and injecting it to the children's system, it keeps their organs clean and away from these diseases in these illness. Then when all these diseases are away from the organ and the children has harvested and grown up a little bit more, he lies to them that you are going to get adopted. And that being adopt means you are ready for surgery, and that rich person is ready to take your heart, your lungs, your liver, kidney, whatever. So that's what the father's been doing. So he has a hospital, a doctor, lab doing that, and he hides children somewhere. So Soo-hyung blows up the lab, he finds the kids, and he saves them and he sets them free. That doesn't end at all. The father doesn't stop there because he still has people sponsoring him. It's just like what Gu Hyung-woo is saying to Soo-hyung. You need to end him because as long as there's people paying him, he's gonna continue and he's gonna keep going. So Hyung-woo takes he gets arrested and he goes to jail and he takes everything that he's the one behind all the callings and everything. So he goes to jail and Hyunjin brings in her father for questioning and lock him up and stuff like that so that Soo-hyun won't go to him. But the father doesn't admit to anything, and she knows her father is behind it, but she doesn't have enough evidence to push against him because Soo-hyun had destroyed everything, and Soo-hyun has seen everything and he destroyed everything, so she doesn't have any evidence pointing to her father to put him in jail. Well, when the father gets released, Soo-hyun goes and stops the father, and in the process of doing so, Philip gets killed. The children gets kidnapped again, but Soo-hyun saves them, and then Soo-hyun finally comes to an end where he goes and meets one-on-one with the father, and the father begs him to let him go, and then Hyunjin arrives at the same time with the police, and Hyunjin tells him to stop because killing him isn't going to end anything, but he's like, I'm gonna kill this son of a bitch. So he shoots the father in the head, and the police shoots him too. So the father is dead, and Soo-hyun dies, and he gives one last look to Hyunjin, pretty much sorry, I have to do this. And then we finally get everything come to an end, and then we finally get to realize why Gu Hyun-woo has been hiring Soo-hyun all this time. It's because Soo-hyun saved Sorgi. Sorgi is his daughter. So because he found out that the grandfather got killed, he knew he was next, but he went into hiding, and he thought that his daughter and his dad, the grandfather, died. But the daughter was kept alive all these years with Soo-hyun, and and he has met Sorgi and all this stuff like that, and he he was happy to see her and alive, and so thanks to Soo-hyun, and he just wanted Soo-hyun to end it all these things with him because it was no one else doing but Soo-hyun's own father, and so he does die. The dad dies, and Hyunjin ends up taking care of Sorgi, and she misses him, and she knew that he was number 88 who was always writing for her when they were at the orphanage and all this stuff like that. So it does explain to us that why his eyes are blue. It never showed him revealing it later when he got older, besides putting on contacts in episode 1. So at one point, they harvest a chemical to kind of a fraternity, I can't say it, test for eggs, where they make the children born with blue eyes. Like a chemical injected into the egg, and it turns the children into having blue eyes. So Soo-hyun was a survival of that. That's why they needed to eliminate him, and he got away. So that's what his case is. That's why he has blue eyes. But we do get an alternate ending where Soo-hyun and Hyunjin does end up together, and it everything finally comes to an end, and they reunite, and they're happy that they finally met and they're together. So who knows? That can be that he survived, or that can be that something they wished for, they dreamed for. We don't know yet. But yeah, that was pretty much it of the drama. It was just to pretty much introduce us to who he was, and why he had blue eye, why he was number 88, and digging on to the people around him. They're all connected. It all goes back to their fathers being the one who created all these mess in the first place, and it got them to get killed and targeted, and with the father Doon Jae-hwang being the only one surviving and making all the money to it. They bring back with him trying to kill his own son comes back and ends all these stuff for him. So it is really good. I did really like it. It's just, I feel like it was dragging in the middle of it, and then everything just came crashing down at the last minute to you. So I think that's why, because there's only 12 episodes, but it's very short, straight to the point. I understand a lot of people wanted the romance, but I was glad there wasn't any of the romance that was big on it. And besides the fact that they were, when they were little, they knew each other, and they were helping each other to survive throughout in the orphanage, even though they never met, and not being able to figure out each other in the future, but it still turned out good. So yeah, that is it for this drama. If you guys have not watched it and you guys are looking for something short and simple, I do recommend this. But like, if you guys are looking for romance stuff, don't watch this because it doesn't have romance in there. Barely. Like, he doesn't even get to like be close to her. No romance sparks or anything like that. So but yeah, Chang Young does have a new drama coming out. It is called WWW. So I do look forward to it. I have read a little bit about it. I'm not really looking forward to some of the girls playing in there, but you know, we'll see. You know, he does a good job in his movies and his acting, so I really do look forward to it. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next drama review, and that is it for today.